Hi everybody, welcome on in. This is my little channel, a little bit of everything. It's my first foray into a Flosstube. I will apologize now if things get paused and I was here and I'm suddenly over here, or wherever. I'm multitasking like you wouldn't believe right now because I recorded this earlier this morning and I was doing that before having any coffee, and I forgot to change the voice input from my headset that's attached to this computer to the camera, because the camera actually has better audio than my headset does when it comes to recording these things. It is what it is. But as I said, my first foray into Flosstube. No rhyme, no reason, no coordination whatsoever. My life is just explosive and chaos reigns in this household. So, that said, let's go ahead and get started. Okay. Like I said, multitasking. It's so weird. It's so weird. And absolutely no editing except for to add in photos of like the different projects, finished projects, or of the examples, because that's what's going to happen. First things first, I will apologize. Second, I will apologize for a little bit of crackling and rustling and plastic sounds, because a couple of these things are in bags. Because I put them back in the bags because I had already recorded this once. Hey! That's okay. It's okay. We are going to start with a crackly one. This is something that I looked for months, and I finally found the pattern on 1-2-3 stitch, and I immediately got everything that I needed for it, and then I decided that I didn't like the way that it looked with the 1/2 and just doing the half stitches. So I'm doing the full stitches, and that means I'm going to have to get more of the Weeks Dye Works mascara. But it is Be Like a Crow. Focus. There we go. Be Like a Crow by Erica Michaels. This is one of those things that I could easily live my life just following. Yes, scream loudly when you see your friends collect shiny things. Hop down the road for no apparent reason. Why? Why would you want to be miserable all the time? I haven't gotten very far with it. This is where I am at. I have forgotten what the fabric is. Oh, it's got a tag. Okay. The fabric is also from 1-2-3 stitch. All of the everything just came from 1-2-3 stitch. It's an 1/8 yard of 36 count opal Edinburgh linen. I have no idea who dyed it, because why would I have that information? It's not important. Absolutely not. And it's not on here either. So, either way, it's beautiful. I love it. There's the tag. But I really like the pattern, the mottling on it. And it's going to be large enough to be able to do all of the projects from the pattern book. So I'm happy about that. And I'm just using all of the called for the project itself. Makes life easier for me. Project is in a bag. I made the project bag. I'm proud of me. This is the very first project bag I've ever made. I'm proud. I've been thinking about maybe making a couple of more and sticking them up in the Etsy shop. Not sure. This is the Dark Forest Cross Stitch by Banana Patterns, and I will, if I can figure out how to do it, stick a photo up. Either way, I'm going to have a link to the pattern down below, or at least a link to the shop. I'm a huge Etsy person, so most of the shop links are going to be Etsy. But it is gorgeous, and it is not small. The stitch count is, let me see if I can find it. I apologize. 226 by 330 stitches, and it's a full coverage. Normally I'm not able to find the gridded or pre-gridded Ada. I found it on 123 Stitch. And the pattern was actually on my Etsy wish list, so thank you, Eric, my friend. Oh, I love you, I love your face, for actually purchasing this for me. I don't have much of a start, but that's what I have so far, and that's just the very tops of the trees. I'm actually going to have to get, I think I'm going to have to get a second piece of fabric to add to the bottom of this, because I don't think it's long enough. So I'm like 99% sure it's not long enough, but I'll be able to cobble it together. It'll be fine. And again, I'm just using all of the called fors. Don't see any reason why not, why I shouldn't, just because it's beautiful. I love the way that it's working out. Most of my patterns I keep track of on Pattern Keeper. But look at that. So pretty. It'll focus. There we go. I don't know if you can really see the changes in colors, but there's a lot of really dark greens in there and some black as well. I love it. I'm having fun with this one. And like I said, most of my stuff, the patterns that I get, are off of Etsy. So the rest of these, all of the patterns are Etsy patterns. We'll start, where am I starting? Let's start with the black work. Okay. The fabric for the black work I got from Jackson Fiber Arts. She dyes, it's organic hemp. It's really, really super soft and squishy, which is a little difficult for me because I stitch in hand, but I also just love it. I've actually been considering reaching out to her to see if she would be willing to dye enough for me to make a shirt out of it, because I also do a lot of reenactments of things. I do a lot, especially Victorian, late 1890s, early 1900s type, like almost Edwardian, in that era. And the hemp is just perfect for the not rich people, and it's lovely. Look at this. This is, I believe, what do I have this written down as? Madrid. This color work is Madrid. And what I've got for the black work, the whole idea of the black work is to do Christmas stockings for 5 people. I'm not going to get them done this year. Nah. And that's what I have. It's almost done. All I've got is the end of the toe down at the bottom there. And the stitches themselves are actually done with a variegated quilting thread, just because I had a bunch of it and I like the color. Why wouldn't it work? And it's actually, the contrast between the colors is a little bit more solid in person. It looks a little bit better in person than it does on camera, which is just normal. Second thing that I have on Jackson Fiberworks fabric, the fabric is Harissa, and it's another one of the stockings. There is the nice, it's not as bright in person. It's much, I can't say darker, but it's not as cherry red. That is what I have for the black work on this one so far. And this is also being done in quilting thread. It's just a plain white quilting thread. one's progressing. I started these two in, oh gosh, what was it, February, I think. I don't know when I started anything. I wasn't keeping track because I didn't know I was going to be doing a floss tube. This is kind of spur of the moment, because honestly I'm trying to get to the point that I'm able to do at least one video every 2 weeks. Who knows, because life is explosive. it just doesn't always work that way. Yeah. And the last one on the Jackson Fiber Arts fabric is on this nice, it's an aqua blue. And this is Lund, L-U-N-D. I don't know if she has any on her site currently or in her store currently. I know she is actively dyeing though. And this is the Sampler 86 by 2x2 stitch art. It's done 2/2, and the thread is a variegated that I actually did myself. I dyed that myself because I was doing a tie-dye. That's the word. I was doing a tie-dye project and I had enough left over to be able to do a whole bunch of thread and experiment with it and play with it. And it's just the cheap, the Joann's brand fabric, Joann's Fabrics brand floss, and there was a very light pale pink in there as well, and that just completely washed out. So it's got the white and then a purple and a green. Where is it hung up? I don't know. Oh, there it is. So, whites, purples, and greens. And I have a lot of it. I'm going to be using this for a while. But I thought it turned out all right. It's working really well on that project. I'm actually fairly surprised at, it's not awesome quality, but it's not going to be. It's a store brand. It's not going to be the most amazing thing in the world. But I've really been enjoying working with shorter lengths and being able to do the variegated was something that I did. Okay, and we have the other two projects that are in the works, the work in progress. Whips! Oh, whip it, baby. They are both on stash fabric. No idea. Most of what I've gotten for years has just been Joann's is having a sale and I have coupons. So that's how my life works. So the first one, because my other half, who I fondly refer to as the man thing, really likes the story, and because we're both a little bit creepy and we love it. Oh no, what just happened? Don't do that. He fixed it. Like I was saying, because the man thing and I, he really likes the story, and we're both kind of a little bit creepy, and we're just really enjoy. Just because of the fun of it. I am doing Sleepy Hollow for him. This is from Raven Stitchcraft. No idea what the count is. I mean, it's pretty obvious that I didn't have gridded, so I just used pencil to make the grids myself. All of the called for colors. It's 2/1 full cross. That's what I have so far. This one's much more colorful than the next one. Here we go. And my attempted murder. but Raven Stitchcraft, I enjoy the stuff. I have, I think, 3 or 4 of their patterns, if not more. I know I've got this one, I've got the next one, and then I've got one of, because there are multiple, but one of the Dracula's Castle patterns that I've not started yet. That will be in the works eventually. They're all full coverage. This one is the big one. Okay. And again, not sure what the stitch count is. It was in the stash. No idea. This one is not small by any stretch of the imagination. Again, full coverage. The only color that's not black and white gray variations is in the moon. This is Baba Yaga's Hut from Raven Stitchcraft. And as you can see, the moon's got some pale pink in it. There's a lot of detail in this, and I've just been really enjoying working on it. Though I do admit, I am very glad that I'm done with stitch, just to ensure that I get a fair amount done on each pattern. Is always set up with an audiobook and or a podcast. I'll say, okay, for the next 6 episodes I will be working on, and until I either finish the audiobook or hit the number of episodes that I say I'm going to, that I set myself as a goal, I will work completely on a single project, which is how I've gotten this far. And yes, I am terrible to my cross-stitch projects. But Ada is sturdy, so is the linen, so is hemp, so I am not worried about it. The day I start working on silk is the day I start to be gentler. But not by much, because silk is also tough. So, plans. What do we have for plans? Plotty fingers. Where did I put it? Did I put it away? I put it away. I put it away. My most awesome project bags that I usually use. This is another Etsy. This is a Rampage by Sherman's Stitching. It's a cute little rampaging tortoise. I'm a little upset that it's a tortoise and not a turtle, but only because this is going to be a gift for my mother-in-law, because we have this running joke. The in-laws live on a lake, and there's a seawall, and there's this running joke that we're going to start filming the Tortuga invasion, and it's going to be Night of the Living Dead-esque, you know, or half a war story of the Tortugas going to war, and it takes them 3 days to get over the seawall, and another 3 days to get up to the house, and by that point, you know, we've gone out the other side of the house to go to the grocery store, so all this is to surround the house, and nobody's even there, and it's just a whole thing that's been going on for years at this point. So I'm going to do the Rampaging Tortoise. I do have all of the colors. It's kitted, everything except for the fabric, which I'm probably just going to end up using a scrap of something that's already in use and make like a little pillow out of it, and just kind of toss it on one of her couches and see how long it takes her to realize it's there. Just because we're that way. This is what we do with each other. I also have, and I bought the fabric that just came in yesterday from 123 Stitch, specifically for future plans. And these are, the patterns are going to be, you know, up here, or at least one of them is being shipped and has not come in yet. It's a long dog that I got from Garibaldi's, and it has been shipped but has not arrived yet. The other one is the Mary Poppins sampler from Alina Ova, and that is something I purchased the same day I bought the fabric. I actually got the pattern and then decided on the fabric from there. And this is Pistachio from Fiber on a Whim. I've never used Fiber on a Whim fabric before, so this is going to be a new experience for me. But this is large enough to do both the Mary Poppins and the Long Dog. Theoretically, if I did math right. I don't know if I did math right. And we're back. Like I was saying, I've never used any of Fiber on a Whim's fabric before, so this is going to be a new experience. I do really like how it feels because it's not super stiff, but it has enough structure to it that I'll be able to roll it into my little scrolls. I mean, you saw them, because I do work in hand, and it's just really nice to be able to do that, and makes it easy to work with it. I believe, if I did my math correctly, like I was saying, that this will be large enough, because the Long Dog is one of the smaller ones, and the Mary Poppins is, I don't remember how large, but it's very nice. It's very nice, and I actually really like the modeling. Is not as extreme as what you can see on the camera. As always, the camera tends to do things to the colors a little bit, but I decided to do this, and I'm thinking that for one, I'm going to go with a much darker color, and for the other one, I may go with a lighter, maybe like a cream color or an ecru. I'm not sure. I'll have to look and see. I'm gonna have to go shopping. It's terrible, awful. Don't know how I'm gonna handle it. And have to go to the craft store. I also have planned, but not started. One of the Etsy shops does like monsters in a tin, and they use Altoids tins. So I have one empty Altoids tin. It's terrible. I'm gonna have to get another one. My mother-in-law is a huge Bigfoot person. Bigfoot is out there 100%, and it's like a half joking thing, but this Etsy shop has Altoids sized. It's a Bigfoot with like a sleeping bag and the forest and like a little campfire, I think it is. It is the most adorable thing. So I've got this for her, and then my sister-in-law works for the Catholic Church, and there's in one of the magazines, I don't remember which one it is, it'll be in the notes. One of the magazines has a nativity scene for an Altoids tin. So I figured those would be cute little stocking stuffers for the two of them. And so those are going to be done at some point in the next 5 or 6 months. Before Christmas. We'll go with before Christmas. And that's what I've got for the future plans. I think that's it for the cross-stitching stuff. I'm too new. This is Flosstube #1. You know what? No. I have some of that hand-dyed. I was going to say I don't have anything for a giveaway. That's a lie. So, what do we got here? There's each of these is, I think, the equivalent of 3. And they're very unprofessionally done. Very unprofessionally. The ends were just tied together with a little knot. So I believe there's 3. I'm seeing at least 2 knots in here. 1, 2, I think it's just a 2. Nope, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so there's 5 skeins in this. And it is, again, purple, green, and white. You can't really see the colors very well because number one, the lighting is terrible in here, and number two, the cameras. But standard 6-strand floss, 18 plus, so that I can get your mailing address. I am willing to do, you know what, I have international stamps. I don't care where you are. I don't care. It's my first giveaway. I don't care. Yeah. Okay, so don't say anything about free giveaway, anything like that. We can't let them know what we're doing here. You know this. So instead, because it reminds me of a flower bed with the green and the purple, let's go with flower bed in the comments. And that will be for the giveaway. If that's all that you came here for was a Flosstube, I know it's like this long compared to everybody else's, and I'm so sorry. But because I do a lot of everything else as well, obviously, you don't even see what's over there. There's more over there. You don't see the rest of the room that way. It's so much. But that's going to be it for the Flosstube. Thank you for coming in if that's all you're here for. If you're interested in life stuff, stick around. There's not a whole lot. Have to admit, my life is like work and staying home and going to the museum. I've been going to the museum to volunteer at the county, one of the county museums. It's the Museum of Seminole County History. I do live in Seminole County, Florida. And the director of the museum got in a book of legal documents from 1886, 1887, and I've been going in one day a week for a few hours and working on transcribing that information from the original handwriting into a digital format. So far it's been pretty okay. I've been moving through it fairly quickly, but I've only been doing the index of names. I did find, I'll put it up on the screen if I can. People have always been people, and the person who was doing the index for the page numbers and who was referred to and what businesses were referred to on each page number had difficulty reading the handwriting of the person, Mr. Demons, who wrote the letters, or his secretary, or whoever he dictated to, whatever. And on one of the pages, one of the names written down in the index is Mr. McSomething, which I just thought was the funniest thing imaginable. So I did take a picture of that and share it with the friends and family, and some of them kind of went, eh? The man thing went, I am missing something! And then I pointed it out to him, and he went, oh, no, I was literally missing something, because it does say in there, Mr. McSomething. Is ridiculous. So I've been doing that for a few weeks, which is great. I love that. The museum is my happy place. I go there to de-stress. Amazing. I've been doing that. I've got 3 quilt sandwiches that are completely made. I've got one that I'm doing by hand because that's just what's happening. And I've been working on that. I've got 2 more that I got one of those that, one of these that kind of went viral on TikTok, YouTube Shorts, whatever it was, for machine quilting using a home machine. So I'm going to try that out. And I'm thinking, because my main workhorse of a sewing machine is a Singer from 1908, it's got a barbell bobbin instead of one of the round ones, so I don't know if that's actually going to work on my workhorse. But I do have the electric machine, the modern one, that was a gift a few years ago, and I know it'll work on that. So I'm going to be doing that. We've got a couple of other things coming up. We have been looking for a house, and we're trying to get a down payment together because the man thing and I technically don't live together, and we cannot get married even though we've been together for over 10 years. We can't get married until I move out of this apartment. Hello, man thing.
Hello, Fleet and Butt. How is Fleet and Butt?
I am almost off of work, and I am re-recording because I forgot to change the vocal input.
Okay.
Yes.
Does that mean I shouldn't come out of the bedroom naked?
I mean, as long as you stay over there, and also I am not editing that out.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
YouTube will do it for you.
No, not just for saying naked.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah. So that is life right now, basically, is we're doing house hunting. We're trying to get that together. I have been in talks with one of the people from another department at work because I am getting too old and grouchy to be working in a call center anymore, or at least that's what I say. But the other area of work also has better opportunities for growth, and they're a little bit less strict with having to be on the clock at a certain time, and they're a little bit more flexible with how many hours are available to take for doctor's appointments, and you can make up hours on another day rather than it has to be this time, because that's how call centers work. So that's happening. He is also looking for another job. He just got a possible lead 3 days ago for the other job.
Or you
3.
put in for that.
And evidently he's already put in for that one. So
I'm waiting on the other ones on orange. Those are more likely to be put in.
so there's a lot of stuff going on in the background, and that's about all there is. Hey. So with that being said, thank you so very much for stopping in. I do appreciate every last one of you. If you like what you see here, if you like the weird attitude and can deal with popping in and out because I'm having to re-record this while working, I'm currently on break and I keep checking the clock, but like my break is leading up to end of shift. It's great. I like that part. Yeah, you know the whole like thing and subscribe thing. I'm really hoping that at some point I'll be able to eventually get to the point where, I can make a few pennies off of YouTube. I'm not looking for much. I'm not asking for much. But enough to be able to feed the fabric obsession a little bit. Yeah, that would be great. Thank you again for coming in. I appreciate you, and I hope y'all have an awesome rest of the day.